Hey everyone! So movement is really important when we do have lupus, but proper movement is key. We want to be building muscles, right? And in order for us to properly build the muscle, you have to kind of have a fine balance between too much working out to too little. But we want to do movements. If you're going to work out at all, I'm going to show you some ways that you can align yourself so that you build the muscle in proper alignment and form to improve what's called anabolism. This is what I wrote about this week in my blog. Go over to lupusrebel.com and then you search up the newest blog posted up there. We talk about anabolism and catabolism. So when we are inflamed as it is with so many medications, with lupus, we tend to break down the muscle. That's a problem. And all the medications that we take tend to break down muscle. So no matter what we do, it might cause us to be mush, right? But we want to create anabolic effect in our body, which means we're building up the muscle. So you see the muscles in your body as opposed to the flab, right? Because that helps us to move functionally and decrease pain. And I know many of you are experiencing a lot of flares and that might pose a little bit of pain, but counterintuitively, I keep talking about how important movement is. So we're going to be coming onto our hands and knees. You're sitting on your bum. And then I'm going to shift my weight forward. We're just warming up right now. I'm not worried too much about the alignment. And then once I get into this quadruped position where I'm on my hands and knees, I'll talk about positioning. So I do this a lot in yoga. I want your palms of your hands right under your shoulders. I don't want them up here, and I don't want my bum going back down here. I want to be up here to where my hands are right under my shoulders and my knee right under my hips. So the angle is really important. I want you to be here, and we can just be here and sinking into my hips, right? Sinking into my shoulders, everything is just hanging. And I can hang here, and it's fine, but that doesn't build muscle. I want to push the floor away. You see how like my biceps and my triceps, that kind of got triggered and it got activated to where you can see a visible contraction. That's what I want. I want the tailbone tucked slightly under to really pull the navel to the spine, and I really feel this locking in of my abdominal muscles, right? So if we're going to spend any time at all, we want to be building muscle. I want you to bring your elbows out to the side and pull back and in to where you actively push the floor away, tucking your tailbone slightly under. You should feel all your muscles light up. Those of you who have knee pain, if you're sinking from your hips and everything's hanging on my wrists and my knees, yes, you're going to have carpal tunnel issues and wrist pain. But if you're actively pushing away to where your muscles are supporting the gravitational force of sinking down into the floor, but you're pushing the floor away with your knees, with your core, with your knees, and with your, your thigh and your hip muscles, then you're able to kind of modulate how much weight or strain that goes into that joint. So I don't know about you, but I really feel my muscles right now. So I want you to slightly bend your elbows and straighten. Bend as you exhale and inhale up. Exhale and inhale. This might feel like a lot. Just a little goes a long way. So I always say less is more. Like rounding my spine, that area between my shoulder blades, I want to round them up. I don't want my scapula or my shoulder blades to just hang. Do you see the difference? Hanging to pushing, really working on my muscles. So bending your elbows and pushing. Learn to tune in to feel what it feels like to move. Too many of us are so disconnected from our bodies, so much so that many of you are probably wondering, oh my gosh, how is she doing that? I don't know what she means. Tucking your tailbone under, navel to the spine, and pushing the floor away. The more you show up with me to learn the right ways to move, the better off you'll be. You'll learn, your body will kick in. You're so much smarter than you think you are. And you need to be connected to your muscles to really help your body. And this really helps you, okay? So that's one, that's your arms. So I'm going to then go ahead and shift forward a little bit and drop my bottom, okay? And I'm going to actively push away. This would be the next step. You're here, I'm still tucked under, right? And so I feel a lot more in my core. I don't want to hang here. Most people like to be here. I'm not working any part of my muscles. I'm just hanging on my bones, which can be really detrimental to our bones, right? Especially if you have pain, that might make it worse. So sinking my hips a bit, hinging forward so that my hands are a little bit behind. It's not directly under my shoulders, but it's now a little bit closer in angle between my arm and my torso. Tuck your tailbone slightly under, and it's a lot, right? And pull back. And let's just stretch our wrists and stretch back and forth, back and forth. If you do have carpal tunnel, you might want to make a fist and really push, push, push. If you are not hanging down, then there's not going to be a whole lot of weight onto your wrists, right? In a way that hurts. So you're really actively pushing the floor away, really rounding that area between your shoulder blades, tucking your tailbone slightly under, and you're going to see and you're going to really feel your muscles light up, okay? And that's one. You kind of hold for 5 seconds and release, hold for 5 seconds, and then if you need to, just stretch out your wrists like this so that you don't overdo it, okay? If you're really brave and you want to go a little bit more, I want you to come on, tuck your toes under, and we're going to do a full plank, okay? So we're going to come forward, and I'm really lighting things up here. Tucking your tailbone slightly under, really rounding that area between your shoulder blades, tucking your tailbone, really pulling in, pushing actively. Do you see how active my arms are? My elbows are not locked out because I have hyperextension, but I'm actively pushing and have a slight bend, and I can feel my forearms as well as my triceps, my biceps, and my rhomboids on the back. All the core muscles, my leg muscles, everything is helping, okay, collectively, and then pull down. That's a lot. And so let's tuck our toes, push our hips up toward the ceiling, and sink our heels down. Alternate, pushing our heels down side to side and back. I'm going to step forward. So we've done our arms. And if you did it correctly, you're going to feel a lot in your arms. Just doing that alone really creates a lot of muscles. And I kid you not, I used to not have muscles because I didn't know. I used to lock up my elbows. Look how much hyperextension I have in my arm. But I learned to engage my muscles by going halfway, really recruiting my muscles. So you can do the same. Don't be breaking down your muscles if you're going to spend time doing this, right? So next thing is aligning the knees with the hips, right? I always want you to think when you're doing squats, I want you to think about the angle between the knee or this hip muscle and the pelvis, of course. The pelvis should be the pelvic bowl, right? So pelvis should be perpendicular to the mat. And then it's however low you can go down and bend your knees without altering the alignment of the knee to the ankle. Meaning if you look down, I want the knee to stay right above the ankle. And if you look, I want the knee to line up with the second toe. I don't want the knees coming in. I don't want the knees going out. I want you to know exactly where to be. So at first, if you can't go all the way down, that's fine. You just want to go slightly down and up. Down, hold, 1, 2, 3, and up. Really using the muscles. If you go pump it, like do a rapid fire, like you might use the muscles a little bit, and if they're malaligned, you're going to cause strain in your knees in a way that you don't want. So you want to sink down slowly and push, 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 and come up. And see if you can activate your core, navel to the spine, shoulders relaxed, and come up. And really feel your muscles. What you can also do is to raise your toes up, to really feel the soles of your feet really in contact with the floor. And really locking out the knees and feeling the muscles. As you go down, you can feel your hamstrings, you can feel your quads, you can feel your core and coming up, right? And back. And it can be shallow squats in the beginning. I want you to aim to do at least 50 a day, right? If you aim high and if you go to 30 or 40, that's fine too. You can perhaps build up to it. but that's what I want you to remember. We talked today about, to recap, about the hand position on the shoulders when you're bearing weight onto your hands. And now I'm teaching you, when you do the squats, to build your leg muscles in a way that makes sense. I want you to make sure that the knees line up with the ankle as well as the knees line up with the second toe. So they're not buckling in or out, and really actively using your muscles is key. Those are the two takeaways. There's a lot of yoga videos that I post on my YouTube channel, Dr. Connie Jian. You can go over there, you can work with me. We have yoga teacher training programs. We've got so many different programs available for you at lupusrebel.com, or come and join me at Dr. Connie Jian on the YouTube channel. I'll see you guys next week.